Hello. Thank you. It works. Sorry, I cannot speak. I cannot speak Spanish, so I will speak in English, and I hope the translation for those who have it works very well. I'm very happy to be here because I am one of the co-founders of PriceMinister.com in France, which is one of the leading e-commerce sites in France, but not yet in Europe. And the PriceMinister company was acquired by Rakuten Group 6 months ago, but we founded this company 10 years ago. So this year is the 10 years anniversary of PriceMinister in France, but Rakuten is a much older company. And I will talk more about Rakuten than PriceMinister, but because I think for European guys like you and I, to know more about what is going on in Asia, to know more about the Japanese market is very interesting, because the Japanese e-commerce market is far in advance compared to Spanish market, French market, even UK market. So it's very interesting to know more about their business model, as you see. So Rakuten is a huge company. It was founded in 1997, so it was the same time as Yahoo, Google, eBay. All those giants of the internet all over the world were founded before the first internet bubble. The founder, called Hiroshi Mikitani, is a very successful guy, very famous in Japan. He's one of the richest guy all over the world, because he has done an IPO of Rakuten in the year 2000. So it was just before the bubble crashed, the internet bubble crashed. So it was a very successful IPO, and thanks to that, he was able to raise a huge amount of money to develop the Rakuten Group and to pass through the first crisis, and you'll see the story afterwards. But from now on, Rakuten has around 10,000 employees all over the world, and 7,000 only in Tokyo. And you see that the market cap is around $12 billion. It means that Rakuten is part of the 10 biggest market cap in the internet sector all over the world. Of course, far behind Google or eBay or Amazon, but still it is within the 10 biggest market cap in the internet sector. And Rakuten has almost 70 million members registered on Rakuten Ishiba in Japan. So it's really a leading company, but it's not very well known in Europe. That's the reason why we should observe what's going on, because it's maybe the biggest company I know and the less famous company I know in the same time. So it's a paradox, and I'll try to explain it to you. As you can see, maybe just to understand that the first job of Rakuten was e-commerce. In Japan, they have a marketplace called Ishiba. Ishiba means market, mercado, in Japan, and it was really their core business, the initial launch on internet. And after their IPO, they were able to acquire a lot of new company, and really they are almost present on every internet sector which is possible on internet to do business with. They have a leading position on travel. They have a huge bank, Rakuten Bank, which is very famous as well in Japan. So only Amazon is doing quite well against Rakuten in Japan. And recently, really, Rakuten decided that Amazon is their main competitor. So they really decided to fight against Amazon, which is really ambitious, because Amazon remains, as you know, a very successful company. So you see that, okay, the business is very diversified, but the most important thing is to understand that all this business, which is the consolidation of many companies which were acquired along the years, but all those companies were organized around the user's database. So it's what we call the Rakuten ecosystem, and it's what we try to launch in Europe from now on, because of course this business model is very successful. It means that when you are an internet user, you can enter the Rakuten ecosystem through e-commerce, because you want to buy something, anything, because of course everything is sold on Rakuten Ishiba in Japan. And when you enter the system, you will be provided a lot of points. So it's a loyalty program, and all those points can be used all over the Rakuten ecosystem. So when you buy, you earn a point, and then you can spend it everywhere in the Rakuten ecosystem. It means that the synergies between all those businesses, all those huge businesses, because each office pole is huge, each office pole is almost a leader on the Japanese market, but they all work together. So as a whole, it's like, like a gigantic dinosaur which is going very, very fast. And what is really a very, very smart idea is that on Rakuten Ishiba, you have more than 30,000 stores. It's quite different from eBay or Amazon. It's more like what we call a mall. It means that we gather a lot of stores on the market, a lot of stores with merchants, professional sellers, and all those 30,000 merchants gathered on Rakuten Ishiba can provide the points to the buyers. So it's not Rakuten who pays for the points. It's not like a regular loyalty program, as you may know, for example, the miles with airline companies. It's not paid by Rakuten, it's paid by their clients, by their merchants. So if I am a merchant, I can open my store on Rakuten, and then I can provide points to my buyers to make my own marketing. So if I am quite generous, I can offer a lot of points, but all those points will be for the buyers can be spent in all the other shops on Rakuten, on the marketplace, and on the other businesses as well. So it's very smart. I don't know if I make it clear, because I have nothing to pay as Rakuten, but the system is really a virtuous circle that works by itself. So it's really amazing, and I think it's quite unique all over the world. So short story, you see that all those companies since 1997 were acquired. So I will not elaborate on that slide, but you see that it has been really what we call in Japan, they say shikumika. It's a very difficult word to translate. Shikumika means systematization or industrialization. That means that, like the Japanese mindset, they acquire company, they analyze the market, they do the best way to integrate the company within their ecosystem, and afterwards they acquire a new company and a new company, and so they are doing very, very fast until 2010, when they decided to expand into US, Europe, and Asia, when they decided to acquire my company, PriceMister. So it's really, really impressive. As you know, the figures are really huge. So because it's more like you consider it's Japanese yen, but here you have the conversion in euros. So it's 3 billion. The revenues, the total revenues is 3 billions of euros. We can compare it to the GMS, what we call the GMS, gross merchandise sales. It's all the volumes sold by the merchants. So the global GMS is around 12 billions of euros. I don't know if you realize, but it's really huge. 12 billions of euros. Sorry, but the figure was there. Sorry to repeat. Here, 12 billions of euros. It's only the domestic e-commerce and travel. It means that the size of the Japanese market is huge, and Rakuten on the Japanese market is really, really a strong company. And if you add all the financial services to the e-commerce, the global GMS, what we call the global gross merchandise sales, is over 20 billions of dollars, of euros. It means that we can compare Rakuten really to Amazon, Yahoo, Google. It's that kind of company, that size. All the figures are huge. When we were acquired by Rakuten, we were very impressed because we didn't know Rakuten very well. We know that Rakuten was a big company, but we didn't realize that it was so huge, and it is really impressive. So, for example, the number of transactions. You know, here it's here when we talk here, it's in millions of transactions. So it means 40 million of transactions in Q4 2010. So the way Rakuten is organized is very difficult for us to understand and to make it clear, because when you go on a Japanese website, it's very difficult to understand because it's always written in a Japanese character. I think there are only 2 examples all over the world which are so different, so specific. It's Rakuten and Gmarket in Korea, which you may have heard something about because it's a really successful company in Asia. It's the same kind of business model, what we call a mall. What we call a mall, it means that the domain name is Rakuten, and then you have a lot of shops, a lot of merchants. It's the same kind of Gmarket and Rakuten. And so it's like a gallery, you can say like a gallery, like what we call a mall, exactly when you are in a brick and mortar mall with a supermarket and and a lot of stores along the alleys in a mall. The same way they think, the way they organize the online business, just like if it was a real mall with a lot of different merchants, and all the merchants are free to do what they want on this mall by respecting the Rakuten rules. So more than 70 million products and more than 30,000 different merchants all over Japan. To really understand what is Rakuten, it's interesting to consider eBay and Amazon, who are maybe the 2 other giants on the world. eBay was more like a C2C marketplace originally, even if now you know that there is a lot of professional merchants on eBay. And Amazon, the beginning of Amazon was more a B2C inventory model, even if you know that Amazon from now on has its own marketplace as well. So eBay and Amazon are doing both sides of the business, B2C and C2C, but originally Rakuten has a very specific brand positioning, which is B2B2C. It means, okay, our job is to gather the merchants on Rakuten and then support them, help them to sell their items. So the main part of the philosophy that you should understand is that what we call empowering merchants. It's a kind of the vision the founder of Rakuten deliver on the Japanese market is to say, okay, we will help you as merchants to sell your stuff, but you will have to do it by yourself. So we will provide some tools, we will develop some web services, we will develop some marketing features, a lot of tools which will be available, but you will have to use it, you will have to do your own business. So it's really a do-it-yourself business. We create the framework, and within this framework, you have to do your own business. It's what we call empowering. It means that everybody can sell on Rakuten. If you feel you can do it, you can call Rakuten, you open your store, and then you can have an access to all those IT tools. So, and that's quite difficult to understand when you look at the website, but really the positioning is totally different. If you consider that eBay or Amazon or even PriceMeister in France was more product-centric. It means that on the internet platform, the product is really what is the core, the base of the internet platform. And on Rakuten, it's really a shop-centric system. So very, very different way to consider the IT platform, the marketing strategy, the commercial strategy. Everything is, centered around the shops. That means that what we can call the virtuous circle of Rakuten is quite obvious to understand when you are aware of that shop-centric positioning. Is that, of course, the merchants have an access to the users through Rakuten. The Rakuten business model is quite simple to understand, and the idea is to keep it simple. When you are a merchant, you pay a monthly fee, but a very small monthly fee, very cheap. And afterwards, when you sell an item, you will give a commission to Rakuten, a small commission, around 5% of the transaction. So it's very simple, but what makes it simple is because Rakuten platform is very evolved in terms of IT. So it's scalable, sustainable. And when we say, okay, Rakuten is a shop-centric model, what does it mean? It means that all the marketing, all the strategy is turned towards the merchants to help them, to support them. So even in terms of communication, all the merchants, it's a lot of examples, are, the merchants are the stars. It means that they do their own market, and even on TV commercial, when Rakuten on the PR strategy, always Rakuten put the merchant in front and say, okay, the merchants are the stars. For example, they organize every year what they call the shopping event, just like the Oscar, or just like a cinema festival, but only for merchants, with thousands of merchants, and they really give and they give awards to the best merchants, to the most innovative ones, to the most efficient, etc. So really, it's a real society phenomenon to consider that every small merchant, because you can have your farm, for example, in the countryside in Japan, and you can sell your stuff, you can sell your meat, your eggs, you can sell fresh fish on Rakuten, because it's really the way they see the business. And it will be too long to explain all the stories, but the way the business case has been built is really through telling stories. They tell stories about merchants, stories about products, to say, okay, before that it was quite difficult. Crab is very popular food in Japan, but you can buy it only in some region, and thanks to Rakuten you can sell or buy crab all over Japan. So it sounds quite funny when you see those kind of pictures, because we are not used to seeing those kind of stories in Europe. But for example, this guy is a very famous guy in Japan because his revenues is more than 1 million euros every year only by selling eggs. It means that 5 years ago he opened a shop on Rakuten, and it was a small farm, and then his communication was quite innovative, because he said that it was really good for health, with chicken, with a very good chicken, and then he decided to invite his mother, which is like a farmer, and he produced a TV commercial really for television, and he put his mother, which was acting like a farmer, and she became really a star in Japan, and all the eggs are only available on Rakuten, and it's amazing to think that a guy like that can make more than 1 million of revenues only by selling a single product, which is eggs. We can say that Japanese are crazy people, and this business is difficult to understand, but that's really concrete, because it's a real business that works. Something specific to understand, of course, is that we cannot duplicate exactly the same business model in Europe, because the logistics is, of course, one of the key factors of success in Japan, because you have to understand that the density of the population is very high in certain regions, so it's quite easier to deliver some fresh product, some food, because they have a lot of private transportation company. So it's with frozen trucks, so it's quite easy for them to send eggs, fish, meat, which is quite difficult in Spain or on the French market, because the logistics is not so well organized as it is in Japan. But you can buy everything, so Japanese doll, wallpaper, even product for pets. And for example, this guy, I met the guy who founded these shops, and he began from nothing. He opened kind of fashion store on Rakuten. It was his target was teenagers, so it was a very strange clothes for teenagers, which would be difficult to export in other countries, but it was very popular. And then from now on, this guy recruited years after years a lot of people, and now I think it's like 50 people working only for him to sell its stuff on Rakuten. It means that he built its own company thanks to Rakuten Marketplace in Tokyo. Another specificity that you may know about on the Japanese market is that they are doing very, very well on the mobility, on the mobile internet. And if you take only the Rakuten figures, the figures was, I don't know if you remember, I told about 12 billions of dollars of GMS, and 20% of that is passing through the mobile internet. So it means that more than 200 millions of euros every year is sold through mobile internet, through mobile devices. So it's amazing, but of course the habits and the cultural behaviors of the internet users in Japan are quite different, because they spend more time on their mobile devices than in front of a computer screen. So another quite funny story, but there are so many that I will not elaborate too much. But before Rakuten, the kimono and all the traditional clothes were very old-fashioned, as you may imagine in Japan. And thanks to Rakuten, it becomes, there is a kind of revival, and it becomes quite trendy to buy a kimono, and the Japanese girls buy again kimono just like their grandmothers did, but on internet, because it's quite difficult to find really a cheap kimono when you go in Tokyo or in a mall, in a brick and mortar mall, and the only way to buy a kimono not too expensive way is to find it on internet. And so it begins to increase a lot, and it's a kind of a new market which is still from now on fashionable. So that was the story of the egg guy, but he say, okay, it's a chicken raised since they were chicks, tastes wonderful. So he say, okay, I have my own chickens, I raised it the traditional way, and Japanese people were very interested by this messaging, and they were interested. So it began a real successful business, which is really difficult to understand even for me. So if we try to have a few minutes on what Rakuten did last year, it's amazing, but maybe the most impressive things to see is what is written here. It's Englishinization advance, because as you may know, the Japan market is under recession. Of course, there is the earthquake crisis, and it's a dramatic issue. But even before that, during the 10 last years, Japan was really an old economic country with an unemployment rate very high. The population is getting older and older, so the market is not increasing, the global market. Of course, the internet is increasing because it's a new way to buy, and Rakuten is increasing its market share on the Japanese market. But the vision of the founder, of Hiroshi Mikitani, was to say, okay, we cannot go on like that, because if we keep the focus on the domestic market, we will have some big issues maybe sooner than we think. So he said to the financial analyst that he will open his mindset and his company by asking all his executives to speak English. And he said, okay, from now on you'll have to speak English. And he was in an assembly like that. He said, okay, now I stop Japanese. And he was speaking in Japanese. And 1 minute after, he was speaking in English in front of all his executives. But when you are a 50-year-old executive living in Japan, you don't know English, and it's very, very difficult for you, because it's completely a different language. And it's as difficult as it would be for us to learn Japanese. And he said, okay, I give you 2 years. In 2012, everybody will have to speak fluent English. And all of our meetings, even in Tokyo, even if we are only Japanese guys around the table, will have to speak English. And that was a very popular decision. And the guy, the founder, Mikitani-san, was interviewed on NHK, on the major TV channels, because it was one of the biggest companies in Japan, and they decided that, okay, we could get rid of the old culture, and we can open our mindset to the world, because unless if they didn't decide to go on that direction, on the global direction, Englishinization, they say, okay, it could be a real threat, because Amazon is getting very big, Google is American, there are Taobao and a lot of Chinese giants which are emerging in Southeast Asia. It means, okay, the only way to find a path and to really remain a leading global company is to speak English and to buy some overseas companies such as PriceMeester. So the main strategy of 2010 was really to say, okay, we are going to be a global company. And so they bought in 2010 Buy.com, PriceMeester.com, and if I show you the global map, you can see that when the Japanese take a decision, it can take a long time to take the decision, but afterwards the action is going very, very fast. They acquired a company in Thailand, Tarat.com. In Taiwan, they launched Taiwan. They are in Indonesia as well. They acquired in the States Buy.com in California. Linshare, which is an affiliate company, in a very big affiliate company in the States, in Chicago and New York. And Fricos with a toolbar just like the Google bar. And PriceMeester in Europe. And they say, okay, from now on, we are a global company. And they ask us, as the French team, to be in charge of the European expansion. They ask the Buy.com team to say, okay, we don't know very well the American market, so you are in charge of the American market. So and what I told here, it seems to be, I mean, it was within 1 year, only within 1 year. They acquired now 5 companies, and everything is going very, very fast. So this is the last slide as a conclusion. From now on, Rakuten will come in Spain, in UK, in Germany. We'll study if, country after country, if it could be more relevant to use the Rakuten brand name, because Rakuten doesn't mean anything in the European population. But so we will see from now on if Rakuten will buy some other companies in Spain or in Germany or in UK, or if we will launch some internet site by ourselves. So all the options are open from now on, but still the strategy, even if on the short term they will have to face the earthquake crisis with the nuclear alert, and it's really a dramatic situation. And all my Japanese colleagues are now stay at home and they work at home, but they are very brave people, so they never give up. It's amazing. So they work at home. They are in the middle of something we cannot imagine. It's so terrible. But still, they go on and they support their country. They give money to help and to build the structure. Because there are no more electricity in some cities, so it's very difficult for everybody. No more water. But still, since Rakuten is very rich company, they can help support the population, but they doesn't stop working on the global expansion. It's really amazing, very impressive to be a part of that group, because when we read articles and when you visit Japan as a tourist, you see something you cannot understand. But when you are in the group, in the company, you attend some meetings with Japanese guys, you understand better the guys, the people, the way they think. And you, for example, I had some ideas about Japanese guys that they were not really open. I thought they were very proud, and it's not the case, because they really gave us the key and say, okay, do what you need, but you have to expand Europe. Of course, you have a lot of reporting to do. You have some results to achieve within 2 years, but we trust you. And I think we'll see them and us in Spain very soon. Maybe, I don't know if you have any question. Do you have a, yes, there is a mic. Sorry.
Yeah, hello, good morning. Thanks
Hello.
for your presentation.
You're
I have
welcome.
two questions. One is very quick. If you can repeat the Korean company that is
G-Market.
G Market.
Like a G
Yes?
market.
Okay. The second question is at the beginning of your presentation, you explained something different. Instead you said that the merchants are giving coupons or money
Yes.
to the buyers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because-
and then the buyers, okay, they have money to buy in every store,
Yes.
in every merchant store.
Yes. But they give coupons or points, like points like in a loyalty program, but they give coupons only if the buyer buy. Okay? It's like kind of reward. If you buy in my shop, I can give you some cash back or some points, and then those points will be spendable. You can use them in other shops.
Okay, but which strategy in terms of point? I mean, it's a percentage of the sale. It's what's
the-
difference? That which yeah.
Yes, the system is very flexible, so each merchant can decide its own generosity. You can decide to give 10%, 1%, 5%, or you can organize special events. For example, 10% this week, 5% the week after, and maybe double the points in 3 weeks. So you organize your own calendar schedule with special marketing operation all along the year. That's what I call the empowerment. It means you are a merchant, you know your business, you know eggs or you know IT or fashion, so you know what is your seasonality, so you know what you have to do, but really what I have to do as Rakuten is to provide you the good tools, flexible enough to offer you this possibility.
Okay, and then regarding the database, how do you share? In order to be profitable for all the merchants, there are a huge quantity of merchants, and I mean, which way you capture the database and how each merchant can use it, in brackets,
There are two ways.
business.
There are two ways, because when I buy in a shop, if I am a users, internet buyers, if I buy in your shop, for example, you will have access to my email. So you have a free access to my email, and you can do what you want if I give you my consentment. And so that's the first way to push some marketing campaigns through emailing. And the other way is to pay to Rakuten a larger access, because you want to acquire new clients. And then you say, okay, I don't want only to send emails to my buyers on Rakuten, but to the other buyers, and then you have to pay, you rent an access to a specific target, a larger target, so you can do a loyalty strategy or acquisition strategy or both.
Yes, hi. You mentioned in one of your slides that one of the keys of Rakuten was the database and how everything was integrated across all the different shops.
What was how much?
You mentioned that the database
Yes.
was one of the keys
Yes.
to handling all the customers. With the acquisition, are you trying to integrate all Price Minister's database into Rakuten's? Are you doing
Yes,
that transition?
it will be the target, but it's a long-term target,
Oh,
because
it hasn't started yet.
no, not yet.
So
Because
right now it's separate.
Yes, it's quite different businesses. The first step is more to share knowledge, know-how, and to use some part of their features and some part of their software to translate and adapt them to the European culture. For example, we'll take what they call the Rakuten Super Point program, the points program. We'll take it and adapt it to the European market. It's more like that. But some Japanese merchants can already have an access to the French market, because we organize some product data feed from the French merchant toward Japan, British merchants toward Japan and France, and from Japanese market towards Spain. So we integrate, but it's more like we developed a kind of software just to integrate the product database through feeds. Yes.
So, thank you very much for the presentation. My question, I have two questions. First question is that the merchants are online merchants and offline merchants, I understand?
Both.
Both of them?
So
Okay.
some of them can have only a small stores in the city, and they decided to open corner on shops on Rakuten, and some has their own e-commerce site, and they decided still to have a store on Rakuten Marketplace.
And you have
So
you have competing merchants for the same product, or not, or you choose the best one in each category, or how
No,
it
we don't.
works?
No, we don't choose.
You don't choose. You
No,
can have.
we have some criteria to say, okay, we have to check the quality of the merchant, the organization of the merchants, because the customer satisfaction is of course the first what is at stake. If the sellers are not reliable, if they don't send the product fast enough, or if they don't do their package with a good quality, or so we have a lot of administrative criteria just to check if the merchants will be reliable. And if it's the case, we organize a competition within Rakuten, but we accept everyone who is a real professional.
And second question is about, are you planning to get into the space of Groupon or Living Social?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Are you planning to get into the space, in the competing space of coupons, like companies like Groupon or Living Social?
I don't know yet.
Not yet.
I don't know
Not
yet. Yeah, because it's quite difficult to analyze this business model, so I don't know exactly what we can do with them, but don't know yet. But we are thinking about it. Yes, I think it will be the last question.
Yeah, no question. I've been in the web page. It looks like everything is in promotion. Looks like it's many of percentage. It's like a very promotional.
Yes,
It's
you're
like-
right.
It's very promotional.
Yes, because there is a generic search engine, so you can enter the marketplace through the search engine and to find a product. But I think you're right. It's like everything is in promotion, because every merchant, like in a mall, like in a brick and mortar mall, organize their marketing. So
It looks like okay, when you said before that it is a shop strategy instead of product,
yes,
but it's like a promotional. Everything is on sale. It's take advantage of the sales, but it's not like an experience of the experience in the shop. You know what I'm saying? This is one question. The second is, what do you mean when you say shop strategy?
because what I showed you, it was only the home page of Rakuten. But if you click on a shop, you will enter a very specific universe, a personalized shops, and then after the first click, it is where the shop begins. On Rakuten we organize the display of the promotion, we organize the search engine, the display of the promotion, the database. But afterwards, when the users click on the first link, he enters a shop, and then it's a completely different and personalized universe.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.